Sticks and stones? Bollocks. Words hurt worse. By me, the Apple What's-It. The only man who can make child abuse statistics awkwardly funny and painfully relevant. Right, let's get this out of the way. Verbal abuse messes you up. More than a smack round the head. More than getting a belt whipped by your nan in the 80s. More than watching Love Island with the sound on. A massive study's just come out. Proper science, not some TikTok wanker with a ring lit light. And it says that if you got shouted at or mocked or belittled as a kid, you're 64% more likely to have poor mental health as an adult. 64%! That's basically everyone in Wetherspoons right now. Physical abuse, that's only 52%, which means being told you're useless every day hurts more than being punched in the face, which is wild, absolute wild. Because at least with a punch, someone might call social services. But with verbal abuse, they just say, oh, it's character building. Yeah, it built a character, all right? A broken one, with anxiety, trust issues, and a podcast. Now here's the kicker. Physical abuse has gone down over the years. Great news. Verbal abuse, up. Apparently, we've stopped hitting kids and just decided to ruin their lives' souls instead. Don't raise your hand, they said. Raise your voice, they didn't say, but did anyway. Brilliant. So now we've got generations of kids who've never been spanked but flinch when someone calls them by their full name. It's like swapping a stab wound for a slow poisoning. That just makes so much sense. Congratulations. We've evolved from blunt trauma to passive-aggressive trauma. What next? Emotional damage by carrier pigeon? Now, and listen to this. People born after 2000, so the Gen Z crowd, are the most mentally knackered of the lot. No wonder half of them can't finish a sentence without the words triggered or gaslighting. Turns out they weren't raised, they were roasted. Don't even get me started on the gender stuff. Men, statistically more likely that they never feel optimistic, useful, or close to anyone, basically walking around like emotionally constipated potatoes in skinny jeans. And women are more likely to say they've never feel relaxed, which makes sense because they're the ones raising the kids and listening to the blokes who think Andrew Tate is a prophet. Anyway, Professor Mark Bellis, top bloke, led the study. He said, and I quote, degrading, humiliating and abusive language directed at children can have long-term mental health impacts, at least as severe as those associated with physical abuse. Translation. If you grew up in a house where what's wrong with you was said more often than I love you, you're probably still unpacking that in therapy. Or worse, on YouTube. And here's where it gets even sadder. Most parents don't even know they're doing it. They're not monsters, they're just tired, broke, emotionally stunned, and repeating the same bollocks their parents said to them. It's generational. It's generational trauma passed down like a haunted heirloom. So what do we do? Well, Jessica Bondi, founder of a charity called Words Matter, clever name, I love that, actually, really good name. So says we must act now to confront the lasting harm caused by cruel or critical or controlling language. You hear that? Stop calling your kid a little shit because they spilled your coffee and your dreams are dead. Maybe try asking them how they feel. Revolutionary idea, I know. So next time you're tempted to snap at your kid because they drew on the wall with your eyeliner or stepped on a Lego barefoot, take a breath, because they won't remember what you bought them, but they will remember what you said to them when you were angry forever. And that, my friends, is how a generation of emotionally neglected adults was born. Hi, I'm one of them. Final thought, words are weapons. Use them wisely, or one day your child might just grow up to be a stand-up comic about on Netflix, talking about you. This does leave me another query though. If you can't hit them and punish them, you can't verbally tell them they've done something wrong. So where do we stand in parenting now?